Guys, first of all, what's going on? This movie is so much fun. I absolutely love this film. The first question I have for you guys is, Omari, when the film starts, we get to dive into the lives of some of the characters a little bit. And one of the characters we follow is your character, Vanderholt. What was he up to before the zombie apocalypse?
So before the zombie apocalypse, he's definitely a military cat, quite trained. Definitely, I would say a notch higher than a friend to Scott. I would go so far as to saying that he was Scott's brother, obviously played by Dave Bautista. And as you know, prior to now his return, if that's what you're insinuating or getting at, he is absolutely a caregiver at an elderly home. And pretty cool, man, trying to figure out his Zen reality. He's fully into feng shui at this point of his life. He's a minimalist. I'm sure that the apartment, which we didn't get to see a peek into his actual abode, but if he were to welcome you into his humble abode, it would be just that, that of humility and concentrating more on the internal, faculty as opposed to the external obliteration of folks that he was able to obliterate prior, with that chainsaw, that infamous chainsaw that we see he's buried. We then go find that with him in his journey, a journey within a journey. There's, I guess, threefold for him. He's got the journey with dear Dieter, played by my colleague and friend forever now, and that being Matthias. And then, of course, that journey is within the journey of all of us as castmates, as characters within Army of the Dead. So he's definitely somebody I was humbled to take on. And I felt like Zach was basically stating to me, I believe that you can sort of vacillate between those worlds of the complexities that persist and exist within this guy. Persist because throughout the movie, you see him as that guy. His moment to take a deep breath is with the elderly folks. And then his moment to double down on taking that deep breath is when he gets next to Dieter and he can actually throw his hair back. But in the middle of this war of sorts, he's able to equally take that deep breath. And that is all due to the writing of Zack Snyder.
It's amazing. Now, I want to talk about Dieter for a second, because in the beginning, Vanderholt is pretty hard on him, but for all the right reasons, because it's all about survival at this point. How does Dieter view Vanderholt and his team that's with him on the mission?
Okay, so I can tell you, when Dave Bautista tells you, hey, you take care of this guy, I don't care if it's a nerd, if he's very handsome and a very handsome dude, take care of him, then of course you will do this. So, and it was, such a great experience to have a wonderful and cool and very talented babysitter like Omari Hardwick, like babysitting me. Sorry, it's sad. So, So that's how Dieter, he never fitted into that team, but he made a friend. And was that your question, by the way?
Yeah, you answered it. You got it, brother.
That was exactly it.
Omari, another question for you. I love the odd couple relationship between Dieter and Vanderholt. Can you talk to me about how we see the relationship grow in the film?
Absolutely. We start out with, again, these guys being not very contentious. That would be dramatic to state. But Matthias is correct in stating that they don't really get each other. And I shouldn't say that. That would be wrong. Dieter is naive and not to a fault. He's got a greenness that's attractive. He's got a naivete of sorts and gullible, but perhaps not gullible in the wrong ways. Gullible enough, but street smart equally. He knows that Scott wouldn't have recruited him if he wasn't. So there's a street smart element to him. We don't see as much grit in the beginning. And so if anything, again, overly dramatic if I state it as contentious, but in their meeting of the minds, the issue is more so with Vanderholt than Dieter with Vanderholt. And so the evolution is just that. Vanderholt falls into at least an affable place with this guy. He starts to understand him in a way because they both run into the cul-de-sac of philosophical thinking.
Right.
And there is no through street on the other side of that cul-de-sac. It's like, here we are in the circle and we're talking philosophically, and maybe perhaps subconsciously Vanderholt really tests this guy and Dieter just goes toe to toe of like, yeah, that could be that. Why not? Yeah. And so there's the evolution of both each other feeding each other's self-esteem, if that makes sense. And then therein lies, after a while, it goes from affable to, man, I really like this person, which is a very underrated word and emotion, to like someone. A lot of people love people and they don't like the same people they love. So, they fall into like, and that's a really great thing. And they need each other. And so there's the evolution.
Well, I love this film. I love the relationship between the two characters, and that scene where your character's kind of philosophizing.
Yeah, is that a word? I know.
Right?
That's a good one. That's deep.
Well, when he's
being philosophical. When he's being philosophical, yeah.
Yes, it's quite amazing. Thank you guys for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.